Today's breakdown is all about the most popular villain in all of comics. What's up, everybody? My name is Jemillio. I'm a personal trainer and online coach, and in this video, of course, like the title says, we're doing a product breakdown of the new Joker collection that SUPERX is coming out with. So this is interesting because they've done a lot of other members of sort of like the Bat family. Even before they were doing licensed gear, they've done Nightwing inspired stuff and Red Hood inspired stuff. There have been multiple Batman variations. Just recently, or not too long ago, I would say it was the December of last year, they had a Batman and Catwoman collection that was officially licensed. So they've done a lot of different characters around the Bat family. They've even done a Robin. They did like a Drake. It was called a Drake tracksuit, and it was inspired by Robin. So a lot of different characters, but they've never, ever done a Joker-inspired one. Now, this is a very special collection for me. I'm going to explain why at the end of the video, and this is probably one of the hardest one of the hardest kind of reviews that I've ever had to do in the 5, almost 6 years of me making these SUPERX product breakdown videos. And again, I'll get into that towards the end of the video. But before we get into the the breakdown and talking about the clothes and everything, make sure to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of summer, and once I do that, I'm going to be doing giveaways. The other thing is, please make sure that you like this video if you find it helpful and share it. And then, and as always, I do have a discount code that I will put linked in the description below if you find anything that you like and you want to pick something up. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Now, really quick, before we get into the clothes, I got to talk about this packaging. The packaging looks fantastic. This is the bag and the hang tag. They always hit the nail on the head when it comes to the packaging, but I just got to take a second to say, look how beautiful this packaging looks. Okay, now there's 6 items total in this collection. We're going to start off first with the hoodie. I am wearing a large in everything. I'm 5'10", about 190 pounds. So again, looking at this hoodie, one thing that I love about this is the shade of purple and green that they picked. Purple and green are a very difficult shade to get right because you can quickly go from Joker and Lex Luthor to Barney very, very quickly. So I really like this deep eggplant purple that they went with. I like the shade of green that they went with. It's sort of like dull green, so it doesn't look too, bright neon-like. Talking about the fabric that the hoodie is made out of, it is this cotton poly spandex blend. It has a silky smooth feel to it. It's very stretchy, and it has good airflow. There is a mesh panel on the chest with green heat transfer tape underneath the chest and on the shoulder. That mesh on the chest is also on the obliques and underneath the arms. You have 2 zipper pockets here, and then you have a Joker tab on the front too, with that sort of Joker logo that you see on the packaging and the hang tag. My sizing recommendation for this is going to be stay true to size. Don't go up, don't go down. I would say stay true to size. Again, my thoughts on this are, I love the color, fit is great, and I love the fact that they didn't try to get too costumey with it. I like the design. It's a little more simplistic, but that's just me. I like how it's still detailed. You have all these panels on the front and whatnot, but they didn't kind of go too outlandish with the design. Now we're gonna move on to the joggers. Again, I'm wearing a large, and it's the same color as the hoodie, no change there. Some details on this one are you're gonna have that ha 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 logo that you saw on the right shoulder of the hoodie is on the left leg of the pants here. You have mesh material that is in the gusset of the joggers. So what is a gusset? A gusset is a separate piece of material that is in the crotch of a pair of pants or shorts. And that way you don't have a seam running all the way through. So as you're squatting or doing stuff like that, you don't have to worry about the pants slitting because of that extra, that piece of fabric that is there instead of just the same seam. So that gusset is mesh. And then you have mesh on the front leg, the front legs on the left and the right on both sides. You also have green piping to detail it, and you have 2 zippers on here, both zipper pockets. Fabric on this feels great. The stretch on this feels great. It's the same fabric as the hoodie. The sizing recommendation for this also is stay true to size. So I'm normally a large in hoodies and in joggers, and I'm wearing a large in these, and I'm glad I have that size. I wouldn't say size up or down. Unless you like your pants super tight or you like them, super loose, I would say just whatever size you normally get in joggers. No other kind of details to go over here, just the detail with the green piping, the detail with the green stitching. I forgot to mention that too on the hoodie. There's green contrast stitching. So on the purple, you have the stitching that holds it together is colored green. So you kind of get that nice contrast in color. It really is something that, it looks a little more kind of plain at a distance, but the more you get in close, you begin to see those details. So those are the joggers. Now we're gonna move on to the quarter zip long sleeve. I'm wearing a large in this as well as with everything. And the fabric on this is obviously completely different than the hoodie and the joggers. I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, but for now, let's talk about the color. It's the same grade eggplant purple and that kind of muted green as the hoodie and the joggers said. There's a heat transfer tape that is across the chest and the shoulders. And you have this mesh material that is underneath the arms and on the obliques. This fabric is a polyester spandex blend. It's very light, very stretchy, wicks away moisture, dries very, very fast, very easily. And I like these long sleeves because I find them very useful when I don't want to wear something that's too thick or warm, but maybe I just kind of want my arms covered when it's a little bit cooler. But because of this material, the thing that I like about it also is I live in a place that is very warm. I live in Southern California, I live in the LA area. So there are some times where I'm outside in the middle of the day and maybe I want to go on a run or a walk or something, and I don't want my arms exposed. Sometimes I'll wear a tank top just so I don't get a weird farmer's tan. If I don't want to wear a tank top or a sleeveless shirt, putting on something like this is great because it kind of covers my arms without being something that is going to keep me warm when I'm not trying to stay warm. I love how light and kind of breathable this fabric is. So it feels really, really good. The zipper on here is great too. And there's even a zipper garage at the top. That is, a zipper garage is kind of how the material loops around the front. So that way your hair or facial hair or something doesn't get caught in the zipper. This is not as thick as the one that came out with the Superman drop. This is thinner, this is lighter. This is just like the quarter zip up long sleeve that came out with the Daredevil drop and the ones that came out with the Darth Vader drop. The one that came out with Superman, if you watch that review, that was a lot thicker. This is the same thickness as Darth Vader and Daredevil. So just to kind of give you guys a reference point. Sizing recommendation for this is going to be, again, true to size. I'm wearing a large. I would not size up or size down. I normally wear a large in everything, and that's the size that I'm glad I have in this. Moving on to the performance short sleeve. Now this is the same material as the quarter zip up long sleeve, but obviously the design is a bit different. So we have a flat lace stitch pattern across the front there. We have the ha-has on the left and the right arm, and we have mesh kind of at the oblique area on this also. We also have that same stitch pattern that goes down the sides and the back. Now this shirt is very comfortable. Again, it's that same material. It's very stretchy. If you're looking for just a great workout shirt that you can throw on, the thing I love about these shirts is they dry very fast. So sometimes I'm lifting weights in the gym, I'm running, whatever, and my shirt gets wet because I'm sweating. But this material dries very, very quickly. So it's very comfortable. Again, got a ton of stretch to it. Sizing recommendation for this is going to be true to size. I wear a large in my other athletic shirts. I'm wearing a large in this. No reason to size up, no reason to size down. I would say stick to your normal size. The last few SUPERX drops have all come out with layered shorts, and this drop is no different. They came out with a pair of Joker layered shorts. So going over these, the waistband feels great. Feels really, really good, not too tight, not too loose. You have this great mesh material that goes along the upper back, or the upper butt, I should say, kind of like the upper butt right underneath the waistband. And then that same mesh also is in the gusset of the pants. So at the crotch, this really helps with mobility. I notice like when I'm squatting, doing things like that, it doesn't hinder you at all. So these shorts are really great for things like squats, box jumps, stuff like that. You have an open pocket on the left side and a zipper pocket on the right side, and the graphic obviously there on the left. And then the under layer has that same graphic, just the colors are inverted, and this is a compression layer, so it does fit like a pair of compression shorts. These are a poly spandex blend, very fast drying, very light, and there are no pockets on the compression shorts. So some of the other shorts have had a pocket on the left or right side. These don't have a pocket, but again, they're still very, very comfortable. My sizing recommendation for these, as always, is going to be go large, unless you have chicken legs or you like your pants being certified nut huggers. Maybe size down, but I wear a large in all my other shorts like this from even other brands, and I'm wearing a large in these, and I have no reason to size up or to size down. So those are my recommendations for these shorts. And last but definitely not least is the Relax Fit graphic joggers. SUPERX has never ever come out with these before. It's the first of its kind from SUPERX. And this is interesting because it's mostly cotton. It's not like a cotton poly blend like a lot of their stuff is. It's mostly cotton with a little bit of spandex, so it's got a little bit of stretch. And you can see on the inside, I mean, it's kind of fuzzy. Like when I first saw these, I was like, these are gonna kind of feel scratchy on my leg, and they're not. They're very, very soft. You got graphic down the left leg, you have graphic on the bottom of the right foot. You have 3 pockets on here, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the back, and there's no zippers. Now, as you can tell, these are very baggy, very loose. It really kind of gives that LA homeless look, if you're into that sort of thing. I live in LA. A lot of the things that you see out here in terms of the clothes it's like very loose and baggy. I see people in the gym wearing like loose, baggy sweats like this, and then they'll wear Crocs or tube socks with Birkenstocks. It's that very sort of like, I don't give a f kind of look. Not my style, but people dress like that. If that's how you are, by all means, go for it. I don't care. So, you know, people wear them as pump covers. I just don't like my pants dragging on the floor. I think it's kind of, because then they drag on the floor, and then I come back in my house and it was just dragging all over the sidewalk, and then in the bathroom, and then I come walking in my house, and the same, it's a whole thing. I just don't like my pants dragging on the floor. But it's a popular style, and a lot of people like it. And if you're looking for a pair of comfy pants, I mean, these are comfy. Like, I gotta say, I would absolutely wear these around the house. I go to sleep in these. They're very comfortable. The color on these, it looks faded because it's supposed to. It's acid washed. So what happens is when they acid wash it, it like mutes the color down. So if you're wondering why it looks faded, that's why it's supposed to look like that. It's called an acid wash. And that's pretty much it. Now, in terms of the sizing, I'm wearing a large. You could size down. The problem is when you size down, the waist gets smaller. So if you don't want your pants dragging on the ground, it's not gonna solve that problem because that's how they're supposed to fit. If you want them to fit a little bit more snug, maybe go one size down. It's another kind of true to size item. It just has to do with, do you like how this fits? They're very big, baggy, and loose. If you like that, cool. If you don't like that, then don't try to get them so small that you're trying to, you know, put a square piece in a round hole. It's just, that's not what they're meant for. So those are my thoughts on the Relax Fit graphic joggers. And that's the Joker collection. If you guys like anything you saw in this video and you want a discount code at checkout, use my code at checkout, Jemil, Jemil, to give you 15% off. Not just this, but anything else on their site, and it helps support me directly to keep making these videos for you guys. Now, I know at the beginning of the video, if you stuck around this long, I said that this collection meant a lot to me, and it was the hardest review that I've ever had to get out. And so part of the reason why I'll kind of explain is when SUPERX comes out with collections, it takes many, many, many months for you to go from a concept to getting it approved by Marvel or Disney or Warner Brothers, whoever, until you can get an actual product in your hand. And even before that, the decision to make that character has to be made way before that. So the Joker reminds me of my little brother because he has this motorcycle helmet. And it was this motorcycle helmet that looked like the Joker. And that was like one of his favorite things that he had. He wore it all the time. It was like one of his most prized possessions. And comic books are one of the things that bonded us together. It was something that I was always more of a DC guy. My brother's name is Alfonso, by the way. So me and Alfonso I would take him to the comic book shop. We had gone to Comic Cons together, and we would never dress up, but it was just, I was like introducing him to sort of the world of comics. And you know, we would read Green Lantern comic books and The Flash and Superman and Batman. I would show him the animated movies, and you know, he really got into Spider-Man for a while. Hal Jordan was like his favorite Green Lantern, but Green Lantern was like a favorite run of his. And so it was something that kind of bonded us, was getting into comic books and reading, you know, like just pop culture stuff. He was into Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, Lord of the Rings. And he actually had a dog. His dog's name is Sauron. He named him after, you know, Sauron from Lord of the Rings. And I saw the concept for the Joker, and I was, you know, tracking the progress, and I was looking at the designs and everything, and I said, oh, he's got this Joker helmet. I would love to get him this hoodie, because then he can actually wear it under his motorcycle helmet. And so I was looking forward to it, and I was looking forward to be able to give it to him. And unfortunately, the time of me filming this is August, like the beginning of August. But on March 22nd, he passed away. He died in a motorcycle accident. So he never got to see it. I never got to give it to him. You know, and so for me, just kind of looking at the clothes, I mean, it just kept reminding me of him. But I'm okay with that because, you know, I feel like talking about him. I feel like talking about Alfonso. I feel like the grief that, you know, I feel, because again, it's only been 4 months. It's a way to kind of keep his memory alive. I feel like it shows that I still love him, and I still miss him. But it was just very, very difficult to sort of get through this review. I've done so many takes of this, and you know, I've been making videos videos about SUPERX stuff since 2019. So it's been a very long time. This has been the hardest one by far. And you know, I'm not necessarily a religious person. I don't know if when we die, this is it. But part of me also believes that maybe we do go somewhere. Maybe, you know, part of us does live on. I don't know. But if there is a chance that maybe he is somewhere, you know, I just hope that he knows that I love him, I miss him, and you know, I'm looking after Mom. So that's all. That's what just kind of made this kind of hard to get through. And so normally at the end of all these videos, I like to ask you guys a question. And first question, I'm gonna ask you two, and I would like you to answer them if you could for me. First one is, what's your favorite version of the Joker? It could be even in a comic book, could be in a graphic novel. It doesn't have to be in some sort of visual media. My favorite is really Mark Hamill. I think it doesn't get much better than the animated series and the Arkham games. So that's my answer. But the other question I have is, I told you before how, you know, this is a character that I think of. It reminds me of my brother, and comic books are a medium that I always remind me of my little brother, because it's kind of what we bonded over. What is either a character? So my question to you is, what is either a character or a property that, like an IP, that reminds you of a loved one? They could be living, they could be dead. You know, maybe it's a video game series that reminds you of a parent or a friend or a spouse or your kids or whatever. It could be a book. It could be, again, it could be a character. What character or IP or something that is something that reminds you of a loved one, that brings up a happy memory for you? I love to hear you guys' stories. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So please leave a comment and let me know. So appreciate you guys sharing me or allowing me to kind of share that with you, or share this with you, share the memory of my brother with you. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.